everybody, it's Kathy Champion at Random Acts of Crafting, and welcome back to my craft room. As you can see, I have some Christmas paper. This is from an older pack. I don't even remember the name of it, but I'm sure that some of you remember this particular pattern of Santa Clauses. But this is the piece that I'm concentrating on, and what I've been doing is I've been cutting out with my EK Tools 2-inch punch. I've just been cutting out some circles, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a few out of this paper, and I'm going to cut out a few out of this paper. Now both of these papers are two-sided, as you can see. It does help if you have two-sided paper, but you don't necessarily have to. But just remember that what is on the inside, you're going to see that back side as well as the front. So kind of keep that in mind when you're doing this, and you can do it out of solids if you wanted to do two different colors of solids. But what we're going to make today is a beautiful ornament, and what we're going to need is some of these circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to show you how I go about punching these first. I hold my punch upside down like this, and I just feed my paper in on the side that I'm wanting to use, and this is the side I'm using. So I come as close to my edge, the top and the bottom and the side as I can, so I'm not wasting any paper, and I just punch, and you can see I have very little waste, and I'll get over as close as I can and just punch, and continue doing this until you use up your entire sheet of paper. And probably more than likely you're going to want to make more than one of these because they are cute. Now, Maymay did this particular ornament, but she used a floret in the middle of hers. I'm going to use the same principle, but I'm going to change it up, and I'll also link her video below so that you can go over and take a look at what she did. You might like hers better, or you might like it the way I do mine. It doesn't matter. It's basically teaching you the concept of how to do this, and you can decorate it any which way you want to. You can build your middle however you want. I just found that doing it this way, when I saw her video, and I made some of these last year, everybody thought they were gorgeous, and I really did enjoy making them. Now you're gonna get gluey. You're definitely gonna get gluey because you're gonna have to glue these little pieces together to make cones. But it's okay. It's a lot of fun, and if you're just sitting, you could punch these out, and you could sit in front of the TV and watch a Christmas movie, or watch a ball game. Yeah, we watch a lot of sports in our house. My husband is a big time UNC fan as well as me, so we follow the football and the basketball, my two favorites. So we watch, like I said, a lot of sports, those two in particular. And then I have an NFL football team that did not do well this year. I'm a fan of the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers, because I am so close to them, and it's always nice to have that hometown to root for. So the Carolina Panthers are my team, even though they haven't done well in the last little bit. That's okay. I'm still a fan. I'm not a fan only when they're winning. I'm a fan all the time. So that's the recommended true fan, is if you're a fan even when they lose, and I am. So with all that being said, hoping everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I have actually felt better today than I have felt in the longest kind of time. I've gotten a lot of stuff done around the house today. I've got a video that's uploading now that I had recorded last week. Last week was not a good week for me. I was under the weather. I had a stomach bug. I've had some toothaches. I've had some issues with, I think I told y'all that in my last video. I am going to have to go in for some extensive dental work that I'm not looking forward to. But, everything's good. God works everything out. So just pray that everything will work out for me with my dental work. It is going to be medical involved, so I'm hoping that my medical insurance will be able to pick up the most of my dental work that I have to have done. But it is going to be expensive, and I'm sure it's going to be painful. And I'm a wimp when it comes to going to the dentist. So just wanted to throw that out there and let y'all know that. I am a wimp. But anyway, you got the gist of how I'm doing this. And this little scrap right here, I'm going to cut that off and use that on something else because this isn't quite big enough to get a 2-inch punch out of, I don't think. We can try it. Nah. So you're going to be short one place or the other. So I'm just going to lay that over. I'm going to do the same thing with this other piece. And when we come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to assemble that. Now we are also going to need a circle, a diameter, and if you do not have a scan and cut or a Cricut where you can cut you out a I would say probably a let's measure 3, maybe 2.5-inch circle. I'll tell you about the size I want it to be. If you have a big bow, a big spool of ribbon, I picked this up at Costco just the other day, and you're going to want a circle about this big, and this circle is about 6 1/4. I'd say 6 inches would be plenty. So if you have something that's about a 6-inch diameter, you could use a saucer, a little small bowl, and draw yourself a circle and then just cut it out. And you want to do that out of some heavy cardstock or maybe even some cardboard. If you have some cereal boxes or something like that, just draw yourself a 6-inch circle. If you have a protractor where you can draw an even circle, that would be wonderful too. But you can go ahead and prep that. When we come back together, I'll have the rest of these punched and I will have my 6-inch circle cut, and we will start putting this together. Be right back. Hey everybody, we're back, and I have gotten, as I said, I got my 2 circles cut out. These are 6 inches each, and yes, I have a scan and cut and I used it. So if you have a cutting machine, by all means use your cutting machine, but if you don't, find something that's about 6 inches in diameter and trace it and just hand cut. You can do it either way, but you know, if you've got the equipment, you've got the machines, I say use them. But I have rolled several, but I did leave about 5 of these undone so I can show you what we're going to do. You're going to need to have your art glitter glue handy. You can use hot glue for this. I just like to use the art glitter glue. I think it's just as quick and it's easy. Now I pulled out my old bone folder. This is one of my EK tools, and this is the old plastic one, not the Teflon one that you see me use all the time. This one actually works better for something like this. It fits well in the hand, and what we're going to do is we're just going to curl this paper just a little bit on the edges like that. You just want to do the bottom of one edge just to get that little curvature, because what you're going to do is you're going to roll that over and make it like a cone, just like if you were making an ice cream cone. And this is what your piece is going to look like. And what I do is I just hold my finger inside like that, and then I put a little glue right along that edge, and then I just roll this over into the glue and I hold it. I do have some of these little clothespins. If you are making these and you want it to go a little bit faster, you can hold that just a minute with your finger, and then you can actually just pop that little clothespin on there and move on to your next one, and you can pull those off as they dry. But again, I'm going to go back through this process. We're just going to curl the bottom edge of it, and you turn it, then it's going to be the top edge. But you basically just want to curl one little side of that paper just to get this little curvature like that, and then that just makes it easy to roll it into that cone shape. And this is what you're going to have, a little cone. And these are not hard to make. It is a bit of a labor of love, but when you see the final project of what this looks like, you are going to say it is so worth it. I love making these. I think it's just it's kind of soothing. It's kind of methodical, but I enjoy the process. I really enjoy the process of making these. So I'm just going to curl these, and I'm going to stick my finger in there and put my glue right here, right along that edge, just so you can roll that over into the glue and get a nice little catch. just like that. And again, like I said, you can use your little clothespins. I've got, this is 3. I usually only pull out like 3 clothespins when I'm doing something like this. And then by the time I get ready to do the next one, this one's dry and I can take that, well, if I can hold on to it, I can take that off, and that's completely dry. This one's probably completely dry. Now I've got 2 more of those to do my next ones. Now you always want to make sure that the side that you want to see the most of, now you're going to see the color on the inside of this. That's why it's good to use a two-sided paper if you have it. And you're going to have, you're going to see also the little gingham checks. The Christmas gingham, that's what that looks like. I kept saying it was plaid, but when I think of plaid, I think of more like this being a plaid. This actually looks tweed to me, but that looks more like a plaid than this does. This looks like a gingham check. So I'm just going to roll these, and again, I'm just showing you how to do this. I've gotten a lot of them done off camera because I figured, who wants to sit here and watch me roll, you know, 25 or 30 of these. But like I said, you can punch these out and then you can take them into your living space and sit down while you're watching TV and just glue, and have yourself a little basket or a little box or something that you can drop these into, and you'll be surprised how fast they work off if you do it like that. So I'm going to bring over the ones that I've completed. And let's see, let's lay these over here if we need it. I cut 2 pieces of paper. This is a Not Your Mama's cardstock. This is a very thick, heavy-duty cardstock, and I wanted that for my base. Now I wanted something that was decorative that's going to go onto the back of this, because when you make these, you're going to want to have a cover on the back. I'm not going to put the cover on yet because I want to wait, so I'm just going to lay that over here. Now I'm going to bring in all of my little pieces. These are the ones that I had been worked off camera, and I'm going to show you the best way. And again, like I said, this is not my design. What I did is I took the tutorial from Maymay, and I will link that in the description below. I took the video from her, but I made mine totally different. Now what you want to do is you want to grab 2 of your little cones, and you want to lay them at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And what you want to be aware of is how much is hanging over, because you don't want this to be wonky where you've got one side that's longer than the other. You want to keep it where they're both about the same distance. So I think like a 1/2 inch is really good, a 1/2 inch overhang. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off at my 3 and 9, then I'm going to do one at 12 and 6. And just imagine this being a clock, and like I said, you want to make sure you're getting them as even as you can. Now we're going to come in and we're going to put one in between each one of these. So just lay them, and I usually like to lay mine out before I actually glue them down. And you can see what's happening here. Now you're going to go back and lay them in between again. So I'm going to put one there, and you want to try your best to keep them as even as you can. And I'm going to put one here and here, and I'm going to put one here and here. And we're going to do one here and here. Okay, if you notice now, you're going to have a little bit of some gaps in here, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to pull 3 together and 3 together and 3 together and 3 together. And then this is going to show you where you need to put your extra ones in. See, I had an extra one right there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come back in threes, and we're going to put 3 in between. I know this sounds like an overkill, but this is crucial in making sure that your little wreath ornament is going to look cohesive when you're finished. And that's making sure that your pieces are glued down in their proper spots. And you'll see what I mean once we get going on this, because it will make more sense as we go. So now we need 3 more right here, or maybe 2. You know, it's not rocket science. You want to put them in and make sure that you're just filling in your openings, or any place that you have an opening, a naked spot, I like to call them. And again, like I said, you just want to make sure that you're getting this centered up nice and even. Just like that. And I think that looks pretty. You do want to make sure that your pieces are laying with the folded side up, because that gives a nice effect. This one doesn't look like it's glued down good. If you find some that didn't look like you got enough of glue on them, just go in there and put a little bit more glue in there. Bring in your little trusty clothespin. And let's see what we got here. Okay, that looks... And because you're building this kind of in a round angle, that is one thing that keeps you kind of wanting to keep everything in a cohesive state. See, and I think that one's going to work right there. Let's take our clothespin off of it. Now I'm gonna count these and see how many I've used, because I still have out of this color, I've got 2 left over. So when we get ready to glue this together, if we need to use those, we can. But I think we're going to be okay. The other thing that you're going to need is, and I know this is horrible, this is a toilet paper roll. I'm sure everybody knows what a toilet paper roll looks like. You might want to try to get the excess toilet paper off of it, which I did try pretty unsuccessfully, as you can see. Well, there we go. Maybe. But it doesn't matter, because this is not going to really be seen. It's going to be completely covered up. But you're going to need a piece to sit up in here, probably about... probably about an inch. Let's see. Yeah, I would go at least 1 inch. So what I would do is I would just mark on your toilet paper roll, and I'm going to use a pen because I can actually see that better than I can. And I'm just going to make a mark right here. Doesn't have to be perfect, but see how I made a mark on that toilet paper roll? And you can use a paper towel roll, whatever you happen to have. I just happened to empty a toilet paper roll, and I thought, okay, that'll work. It's small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this. Just flatten it out like that, enough so we can cut it. And I'm going to follow right across that, and I'm just going to cut that off like so. Now once you get it cut, you're going to want to bring it back and make sure you've got it rounded back up so that it's nice and round. And you're going to set that right down. It might need to be cut down a little bit more. That might be just a little bit of an overkill. So let's go in and cut it down about 1/4 of an inch. Again, this is not rocket science. It's just basically trial and error. So I would say that was an inch, and I took about 1/4 inch. I would say 3/4 of an inch would be a good thing to do here. So we are going to actually hot glue this down. I'm going to go ahead and heat up my hot glue gun so that it can be hot by the time we get these glued down, and we're going to just glue those down. I'm kind of debating if I want to do those with hot glue or if I want to do those with, let's see if I can find my cord. I know I've got a cord down here somewhere. Oh, it's up here. Okay, not a big deal. We'll just bring this over and I'll plug this up over here if I can get to it. There we go. And what else do I have plugged into this? Let's see. Okay, we've got my camera plugged in, so we definitely don't want to upset that apple cart. So let's plug in our hot glue gun. All right, and we can let that heat up while we're waiting, but we are going to glue this down in the middle. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take our cones back off of here, and we're going to start gluing. And what I'd like to do is I like to take on my back piece, I like to put a good amount of glue down, just like that. You want this to hold up, you want it to be durable, especially if you're giving this as a gift. So I'm going to put that down right there, and I'm just going to hold it just to let it grab hold of that cardstock. And as you can see, I got about that much hanging over. This is my 12 o'clock piece. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put a piece. Again, I'm going right about here down to my edge, and this is going at my 6 o'clock piece. So just like I showed you how to put them on, this is exactly the way you want to glue them down. And don't stress over this process too much. It's not hard to do. It's just basically putting your pieces down in a cohesive way and trying to keep them as even as you possibly can, because that's going to really make a difference in your final process. When you get everything down, it all depends on the placement. So that's the only reason what you need to be careful with, you know, how we place them, and our distance from the edge of our circle. Like I said, it can get a little wonky on you if you're not careful, and you'll have some of them out further than others and some in, and then it just it takes on kind of a funky look, I think. Alright, there's those down. So we're going to come back and we're going to put them in between these four. And again, very simple process. Just bring them in. A good rule of thumb is just to look right there. And you could also do this. You could come in and just do a line of glue like that and lay it down in it. That would be another way that would work. Might be an easier process to do it that way. So I'm going to do that. And that way you know that your glue is getting where you need it, and you know that you're having the overhang right where you need it. So let's go ahead and try. You know, we can always improve our technique just by trying something a little different. Okay, so we got those in. So now we're going to go back and just go in between each one of these. Just really easy, nothing hard about this. It's just placing them down. And down. And then we're going to go right here and put one. Once you see how easy this process is, and probably the hardest part of making one of these is rolling and gluing all of your little pieces together, your little circles. Once you get those done, the rest of this comes together very, very quickly. So we're going to put a line here and a line here, and let's lay this one here. Oops. Like that, and this one here, just like that, and then we're going to lay one more right about here, And then we're going to come right here and we're going to put another one right here in the middle. Alright, that looks really nice. Now we need to go back and we are going to actually put some of these in between like this. So when you wedge these in, this is going to be really getting it tight in there. So I'm going to put a line of glue and wedge it in, and a line of glue and wedge it in. Just like that. And we're going to do a line of glue and wedge it in. A line of glue. And all I'm doing now is just going back through and filling in any of my empty, like naked spots. Like I told you, you will have naked spots because that's just the nature of this. So we just want to fill in those naked spots and make this look nice and full all the way around. Let's get one right there. And let's put one right here. I don't know how your weather is where you're at, but it has been a little crazy here in the southeast. We have had, today it's going to be like 65, and then the bottom's going to fall out tomorrow and it's only going to be in the 40s. And they're even calling for some flurries on Friday. So just crazy, crazy weather, but that's the way it is in the South. I mean, you know, I talked to a friend of mine that lives in Oregon, and we talk about, people think if you live in the South that it's always warm, but it is true if you're in Florida. But if you are in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, we get cold. We really do. We have days in the 20s, and my son lives in Jackson, Michigan, and last winter I woke up one morning and I looked at my temperature on my phone and it was 7 degrees outside. And I keep my children's weather on my phone as well as mine, so because they all live in different places and I like to see what it's like in where they are. And I looked at Michigan and it was 7 degrees there at like 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm thinking, there is something wrong with this picture. I live in the southern part of North Carolina. I am over into the western part of the state a bit. I'm not close to the coast, but it gets cold here. And a lot of times people are under the misconception that if you live in North Carolina, you know, you're in the deep South and it's nice. And I think I'm just going to leave that because this is going to get covered with another piece and I don't want to mash this too tight. Okay, see how well that's coming together and how we glued it onto this piece. And when you add in our next pieces, it is really going to take shape. Now, you know, this one has so much green in it. I had cut these out, but I think I've decided I don't want to use them. I'm going to save these and use them on another one. I want some more red and golds in the middle. So I'm going to look and see, and I'm wondering if this would not look beautiful, or maybe even this. I think I'm going to, let me look at the back side of this one. Yeah, see, that looks too much alike. So I am wondering, I'm loving this. This is almost like a houndstooth print back here. Let's see what else I have. And I'm just got a pack of paper over here. And like I told you, I think some of this is old paper. I cut off the branding strips off of it, so I don't even know what pack this was from. I do know that it was either, it was Echo Park, I'm pretty sure. Most of my papers, I had one of my subscribers to ask me yesterday, where do I get my paper from? And y'all all know that I love the Brutus Monroe cardstock. It is one of my favorites. I love the sturdiness of it. It has a nice rich feel. This is the Story of Christmas. This particular pack, this sticker pack here, and this one is A Perfect Christmas. So I'm thinking that these packs are one or the other of this, one or the other of these two packs. I'm just not sure which one. So anyway, let's I like this one too. I wonder how that would look. I really want more red, and I'm kind of liking the deer. And of course this is pretty, this plaid. I like that one too. I think I'm going to go with this one. So indecisive, and then all of a sudden I just see this and it seems like that's going to be very pretty. So let's go with that one for right now. And I am going to pause this, and I'm going to go ahead and punch out my 2-inch circles, what I need for the inside of this. And when we meet back up, I may go ahead and I'll wait because what I want to do is show y'all how I'm going to glue this in, and then I'm going to use this as my center point as to where I want to put my other pieces down to. You'll see when I come back. So let me go ahead and get my punching done, and we'll meet back up in just a very few minutes. We'll be right back. Okay everybody, we are back, and as you can see I got all of my that second color of my little circles made up into the cones, and we have our little toilet paper. We won't tell anybody that it was a toilet paper. We're going to call it a cardboard circle. That sounds much better than part of a toilet paper roll. But what I want to do is I want to glue this down right in the middle, right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue, and I've had this heating for a little bit, and I am going to run a circle of hot glue. See if I can get it going. Push that down in there. And I think I'm going to do it on this side. And I'm just going to, let me pump this a little bit. And there we go. And I am just going to run this hot glue all the way around here. And then we're going to sit this down right in the middle. You know, work it around, because once this gets in here, you're not going to be able to move it. And you want it to be round, and you want it to be in the center. That looks pretty good. So if you want to, you can glue these in with hot glue just by coming in here and putting some hot glue down, just like that. And then you can just come in and sit these down right in it, just like that, and they should hold really well by doing it like that. And what I want to do is I just want to work all the way around this little ring in the middle. And I think I'm still going to put some glue on these because I want glue up underneath here. And y'all all know that I am a girl that loves her art glitter glue. To me, there's just nothing better than some art glitter glue. Yes, this is going to help hold it in the center, but I want something that's going to hold it down to the other part of the wreath. Just like that. And that. Okay, and with this one I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put some glue all the way down. And so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to work these all the way around. And when we get back, we'll have these all glued down all the way around, and then we'll go ahead with our other embellishments. But you can see how this is starting to come together. All of this is going to be covered, so you're not going to see any of this inner workings once we finish this. So it is going to be gorgeous when we finish the final product. I think everybody's going to be very pleased with how this turns out. It is a beautiful ornament when you finish with it. Makes such a statement. And I just love making them. So I'm going to glue these down and then I'll be right back. Okay, I got the, I haven't glued these in, I just laid them in, but this is where I laid my gold ones, and I want y'all to see that. The camera does not do this justice. Now I'm going to go back, and I found this piece of green, and I am going to punch out some of these little green pieces, and let's see how this punches. So we're going to go into about here. There's one. Two. And three. And four. I want to get enough of these punched so that we don't have to come back to the punch. So even if I have a couple too many, I'd rather have too many than not enough. And this punch is not one of my easier punches to punch, but anytime you're punching something this delicate, and especially out of Toby, especially out of something as heavy as this cardstock and something as delicate as these punches, they don't always punch as easy as we would like them. But now let's bring this back over, and what we're going to do this time is we're going to bring these in, like in between the larger ones. So everywhere that I have one of the large ones, like here, here, I'm going to put one of these in between. And this is going to look so much better once we get them glued in, because then they're going to stay. So I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's just go ahead and pull these out. I don't want these to slide up under there. So I'm going to pull these all out, and then we're going to go ahead and put these in. And all I'm going to do to glue them in is I am going to take a little bit of art glitter glue. Toby, come. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. He seems like every time I video, he wants in on the show. He is such a little booger bear, and I love him. Y'all know I do. He is my little heartstrings. So I'm just going to push that in, and what I'm going to do is probably use my one of my little pokey tools, maybe this one, and I'm just going to use the tip of it just to kind of set that down in there so that it will stay glued where I want it. So I'm going to grab a little bit more glue, and again, I'm not putting the glue all the way up because I want this to just adhere on the tip of it. So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to just take my tool and press on that. A friend of mine told me that you can still buy these pokey tools at Concord and 9th, or 9th and Concord. I will look that link up and see if I can find it. And they were not that expensive. I think they were like $5. And these things are awesome. And I know some of the other crafters had been saying that they couldn't find these anymore. But I did see them there because I went and looked. And so if you're interested in getting a original pokey tool. That's what we call them. They're actually a die release tool. So if you're looking them up and looking for them, they are called a die release tool. So if you've been wanting to get one of these, you might want to go over there and check it out, or wait for me and check it out from my link that I put in. Now, I'm not an affiliate, so I'm not going to get anything by you shopping through my link. So I'm just putting it out there as a public service because I know how much we enjoy everything that this tool brings to us crafters, and it is our do everything type tool. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to put one in between. It looks like we have more space here between the sides than we do. And we'll pull this one over just a hair. Maybe this one too. Because once they get glued down, they're pretty much going to be set, so there won't be any moving them. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. Like I said, my husband always calls me on his way home, and I wasn't paying attention to the time. So anyway, this is where we're at. I glued in all of the sparkly, gold glitter little embellishments. And we are going to go back now, and we're going to go in between, and I want to put the short green ones in. And we're going to do that the same way. We are just going to do a little tip of glue right on the edges, and I think what I want to do is just put these like right on here where they'll sit up, and they will adhere really well because we're going to be gluing them flat down on one of these little cones, just like that. And you know, you don't have to be perfect and precise because this is a project that's supposed to have a little bit of a rustic but also elegant look to it. So I think it's really hitting it right on the mark because I think these are gorgeous. I think they come together really well. They make a beautiful, beautiful statement. I think anybody would be very happy and very proud to get one of these as a Christmas gift, an ornament party gift, a hostess gift. There's just, you know, we have so many different functions we go to during the Christmas holidays, and I think this is just a wonderful way to have that little handmade something to hand out to someone. And you know, these are not expensive to make. If you have some of the product, basically you just need some two-sided paper, and like I said, you could do this in one-sided paper, but what you would see in here, in between here, would be the white paper, the white backing of the paper. Now you could do these in solids if you wanted to, and you wouldn't have to worry about you could use your Christmas stamps and stamp your own paper if you wanted to. Or even better yet, if you have the Christmas paper that is one-sided, stamp the other side with some Christmas stamps and color it. You know, there's always ways to get around things like that where you can still make a project work. You just have to kind of sometimes think your way through it. I think we just need a couple more of these and we'll have plenty. Let's see. Actually, I don't even think I needed any more. I think that pretty much got it all in there. So all we need to do now is make a place for our hanger. And I am thinking that I want it to hang right about here. That looks like that would hang really good. So I'm going to grab a piece of ribbon because I really do want to hang this on a really pretty piece of Christmas ribbon. And I think I'm going to use this gold, because I think the gold will really bring out the gold in the little branches here that I used. So I'm going to use this thinner, and this is a three-eighths of an inch ribbon. This is a beautiful gold ribbon. If I could find the edge of it, maybe right there. I always have trouble finding the edges of these ribbon. I think I got it. There we go. So now what I want to do is I'm going to use my pokey tool, and I am going to go through these two right here, or better yet, maybe right here. Now I'm going to use my little threader, and I'm going to push this through, and I'm going to get the end of my ribbon. We're not going to need a whole lot of this, and it's just coming off like crazy, so I don't want it to keep coming off. I might put a bow on it too on the front. I hadn't even thought about that, but that would be so cute. So let's get the hanger on it, and then we'll go from there. So I think for the hanger I want about that much. So let me get my ribbon scissors. And I'm going to just thread this, one end of it through, and I'm going to pull this. And I'm going to hold one edge of it because I don't want both sides of that to come through. I just want one of them. I'm going to pull that little tool out. That little tool is wonderful. It absolutely does the trick of what it was intended to do, and it does it beautifully. So I'm going to pull this up like so, and I'm going to tie me just a plain little knot, nothing fancy, because I'm going to pull this back behind our ornament so it doesn't show. But I want to get this tied down really good and tight so that I can trim those little pieces off, and that looks really good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this to the back so that that little knot is hidden just like that. Now look how pretty that is, and that would look pretty hanging anywhere in your Christmas decorations. So now I need to decide if I want to do a bow on it. Hey everybody, I am back, and I have to apologize once again. My SD card was full and I did not realize it, and it stopped recording. And the last thing that y'all saw me do was I glued in the little greenery around the in between each one of the little sparkly gold branches. And then I decided that I wanted to put a bow on it, so what I did is I just took some of the ribbon that I did here, and I tied a very simple little loop bow, and cut my tails off, and just took a little glue dot and glued that right there. So that's all you miss. And then I took that decorative piece of paper that I had cut, and I glued it to the back. Now that's all that was missing at the end of my video. I didn't see where I needed to redo the video just to do that. I think most everybody can tie a simple little bow like this. It wasn't very hard at all. I think it does add a little something special to this. So now we can just call this ornament done. I hope that you enjoyed the process of watching me create this and watching it come to life. And I hope that you will make one of these. They're very simple to do. It is time consuming. That's the only thing I can say. It takes a little while to do this, but once you get the hang of it, you can pretty much pump these out pretty fast, because All you need to do is roll those little circles into cones and glue them together, and that's the bulk of the work. The rest of it is just gluing them down, decorating it, and just making it beautiful. And I think this is so cute. I love the way this turned out, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. So until we craft again, I always like to leave you with a word of encouragement, kindness, and love. So when you're out and about doing your Christmas shopping, this is a time that people are so impatient. Everybody's in a rush to get done what they need to do. Take the time to just show kindness, be a light in this dark world, and let the love shine from your heart to someone that may be in need of just a kind word. So, as I always say, let everything that you say and do bring glory to Christ Jesus. I love you all very much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.